wonderful place full of progressive people, and we're here to show people today when things like this happen, what do? We come together and we fight back. We're not going to stand for racist attacks on anybody. No one's going to feel intimidated, and we're going to root out racism in this community going forward. So I'm with the coalition. I also work part-time for MPP Cindy Forster. She is on her way. Her husband's getting his final cancer treatment, and he's going to be cancer-free soon. So thank you all for coming. So we've got a few speakers today. I'm going to say a couple words in a little bit. We've got the Mayor of Colborne has joined us, John Maloney. Vance Badaway is going to speak.
Thank you to Reverend Hertman for opening up the hall here for our attendance. It is a little cool out there, and I think we'd be much more comfortable here. But it's great to see you all here. Very good. A recent incident of racial slurs being spray painted on the wall of a residence in our community was shocking. It was appalling, and it angered many of our citizens. It was a criminal act in so many ways. It was a break and enter. It was a home invasion. It was vandalism. But because of the racial overtones, it was a hate crime, which cannot be tolerated by our city or anywhere. The incident is under police investigation. Hopefully, the perpetrators will be apprehended, tried, convicted, and sentenced. It has galvanized support for Jayden and Ruby and their respective families, as is illustrated by your presence here today. We stand united. We stand united in opposition. We stand in opposition along with this couple and offer them our unfettered support. It is a reminder that we must be vigilant in our opposition to racism. It does not reflect who we are as a people. In Colborne and in Canada, we celebrate diversity. Once again, I thank you for showing what's right. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan Maloney.
Well, first off, I do want to thank Carrie and Shirley for reaching out to the family and really organizing and bringing everybody in unity here to the city of Colborne, here at Guild Hall. I want to thank Reverend Hertman for offering us this facility as well to keep us a bit warmer than it is outside. Albeit being outside, it is truly Canada. And that's what, quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's what today's all about, is being Canada, being Canadian. And I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out today in unity to show your support for Ruby, for Jayden, for the Benner and Hannigan families, but most importantly, unified as Canadians. And the Prime Minister says it often. He says it almost daily, that Canada is stronger as a nation, not in spite of our diversity, but because of it. Not in spite of our differences, but because of it. Because of how diverse this country is. And as Canadians, we have always, throughout decades, with help from our parents, our family, our friends, our neighbors, prided ourselves on being a cultural mosaic. In this way, as we welcome people of all different cultures and faiths to our country, we are presented with an incredible opportunity to learn and to grow and to mature from one another. Different traditions, different beliefs don't challenge our way of life. Rather, they become part of the fabric of what it is to be Canadian. gentlemen, in this year, especially this year, as we celebrate Canada's 150th anniversary of Confederation, it is the perfect opportunity, and that's what we are here today, as an opportunity to celebrate, to recognize the many contributions that we, coming from all backgrounds, contribute to this great nation. A crime like this, as the mayor said, a crime like this has very real and personal consequences. For the individuals that are to my left and the families, to Jayden and to Ruby, very serious consequences. And with that, I, as well as they, as well as the city of Colborne, says thank you to each and every one of you to really, really define by your attendance here this morning, or this afternoon, once again, what it is to be Canadian. And what a crime of this nature, so jarring and so difficult to process as it is, and as it is distinctly un-Canadian. It goes against the very core, the very fabric, as a welcoming people, as we are. We cherish this country. This country has been handed to us by generations of people that have eradicated this type of culture. And we today, as a community, as a region, as a province, as a nation, with leaders like the Benner family, are going to continue to eradicate this kind of behavior. I give a great deal of credit, and I'm proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with Ruby and with Jayden. You have taken an incident and did not lock your door or put your head in the sand. You did not simply get upset and hide. When this happened, you took a role of leadership on it. You took a role of being Canadian. I want to take this opportunity to say to both of you, on behalf of the Prime Minister of Canada and from the House of Commons, not just the Government of Canada, but all 338 members that sit in that House of Commons, regardless of what party they represent, regardless of what part of this country they represent. Along with our leader, the Prime Minister, on their behalf, I want to present to you 2 Canadian flags. And I want you to fly them proudly. And not only remember the incident that's happened to you in a negative way, but as you have stated, remember it in a positive way. How you have stood up to be truly Canadian, epitomizing what it is to be Canadian. To stand forward and let people know, that Port Colborne, in solidarity with the entire nation, sends a strong message internationally that Canada is in fact a country where everyone belongs.
Woo!
Yeah! Now it's my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce why we're here. To introduce the true heroes, the true Canadians, as we all are in solidarity and unity, both the Benner family as well as the Hannigan family. Come on up here.
Okay, thank you. I'm Jayden's mom, Shannon. Hi, everyone. I'm so overwhelmed by the amount of people that are here today. I've been following it on Facebook, and I thought, about 90 people were going to show up today, and now there's so many people here, and so many of Jayden's classmates, and his hockey team showed up, which is absolutely amazing. They're all here in their hockey jerseys from his team, and everyone in the community that has come out today that are friends and family, and even those who we've never even met before. We don't know who you are, but you mean so much to us. I can't tell you how hurtful this has been for me as a mom to have to explain to my child why somebody doesn't like him or why somebody would do this. I don't even have words to tell him why. I just tell him how great I think he is and how wonderful he is, and I've had all these messages from people in the community telling me how they're better people because they know him, and things that he's done for them at the Vale Center, or things that he's, a lady told me he opened the door for her because she had a big stroller and nobody was helping her, and along came Jayden. So it really fills my heart that everyone's here to help support him and Ruby. I think Ruby is absolutely the most beautiful girl in the world, and I'm so proud that my son dates her. And I really support their relationship, and I'm glad that my community does as well. So thank you guys so much for coming. Yeah.
Well, first of all, thank you, everyone. We need to realize that I wasn't going to move forward with this story without the two kids' approval. So they are the true heroes here today. They both agreed to come forward and show that they're living proof that this lingering disease still exists. So without them, we wouldn't be here. So thanks to you guys. This has been a couple of weeks now, so I need to thank a lot of people, so please bear with me. I'd like to thank John Crocco and his staff from the Niagara Catholic District School Board Association. I would also like to thank Glenn Gifford and Andrew Boone and all the Gators that might be present here today. Thank you. I'd also like to thank Port Colborne High School and any Blue Bears that are here. Thank you so much, guys, for showing your support. I would also like to thank a close friend of the family, Adrienne Arsenault. Without her, we wouldn't have had this story move forward at all. So she brought it to the press, so thanks to her. Also, we need to thank the Niagara Regional Police. These guys right now are digging probably in some of the toughest trenches in the region. So thanks, we should all be thankful for them and all they have done for us and all they're doing. I'm sure everybody knows, as seen in the paper, they don't have a real strong record solving hate crimes. So we need to send out a big cheer for them. Hopefully this will be their first one. Woo! I'd also like to thank my girlfriend Phyllis Stante. She was the first one to arrive on the scene, and she's been a pillar of support for myself and my family, so thanks, Phyllis. I'd also like to thank a good friend of mine, Vance Badaway, for his kind words.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank the mayor for allowing this to happen in his city today. I'd also like to thank the reverend for opening his doors, getting everybody in off the streets.
Thank you, Rob.
I'd
I'd like to say a few things about racism. Racism is not something we're born with. It's something we learn. When my kids were little, the only thing they hated was the thought of me coming to cut their hair. So this racism is taught to our children, and it's taught through generations. It's got to stop. We can't let anybody take our dignity from us. These kids have stood up and shown that and proven that they're not going to accept this anymore in their life. Nobody should have to endure this. They've also been stripped of their pride. Don't let anybody strip you of your pride. We're standing up against this. You need to be, each and every one of us needs to stress the fact that our kids need to be proud of who they are, how they act, how they think, but most importantly, how they treat others.
Yes.
Once again, guys, thank you for showing up. We've turned this act of hatred and racism into an act of kindness, a great showing of community support. My phone hasn't stopped. People wanting to come to my house to clean my house, paint the walls, clean up the graffiti, all kinds of help. People have donated graciously. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks very much, folks. That was very moving. We have a couple more speakers. There's three moms I'd like to call up. Laura Yip. Hasn't. So, do you want to start, Nicole? Or do you want Laura will start, and Shirley is from Port Colborne. She's also a member of the Niagara AntiRacism Coalition. So she's going to have the final word. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Laura Yip, and I actually had to write out what I was going to say today because of the nerves and to try not to cry. There's no guarantees I'm going to not cry. So I am, in addition to what I'm going to say here, or to explain what I'm going to say here, mom to almost 12-year-old Zachary. He's already planning his birthday for May, and 9-year-old Mei Jing. When I was 18 years old, I met James, the man that I would fall in love with and who would become the father of my children. When he asked me if his being Chinese was going to be a problem for me, I couldn't fathom what he meant. Why in the world would it be a problem for me? 2 months into dating James, we were walking up Clifton Hill and I started to learn what he meant. I won't repeat what was said to me that night, and I will also never forget it. Over the next 10 years before I had my son, we encountered racism regularly enough that James told me that I had to learn to shake it off, that he was used to it, and that it was just people being ignorant. I'll never forget how sick I felt when he said he was used to it. Then I had my children, Zachary and Mei Jing, and what I had already experienced took a turn that I couldn't have anticipated. Where are they from? You're such a caring babysitter. What region did you get them from? Man, I'm shaking really badly. Oh, mixed kids are so beautiful. It's so generous of you to have adopted 2 little Asian kids. I'm not even going to bother trying to say her name. Oh, they're half Asian. That's why they're so polite. And of course, sadly, the horrifying, you should be ashamed of yourself. There's more. There's so much more. And there are racial slurs that I will not repeat. My heart breaks every time someone questions my relationship to my children. My heart broke when my son was just 6 days old and I overheard James say to him, "It's good that you don't look more like me. Maybe you won't have to go through what I went through." My heart has broken so many times and in so many ways over the last 20 plus years. And my heart broke again when I learned of what happened to and in the Benner's home. Ruby and Jayden, before I continue, I want to tell you that I stand with you. I was standing with you before I even knew of you. You see, it bothers me so much that we need to have this rally. It upsets me so much that there are people in this community or anywhere who will do what they did to the Benner home because they don't like who someone is dating. I'm uncomfortable speaking here today because none of us should have to be here at all, and also because I am acutely aware of the problems with a white woman getting up and talking about racism. Racism has touched my life. It has affected me deeply, viscerally, but I can never understand what it is like to be the direct subject of racism. For nearly 12 years, people, always white people, have interrupted my children and me going about our daily business in grocery stores, in coffee shops, in dentist offices, because they see a white woman with Asian-looking children and they're compelled to find out how such a thing happened. Some of the comments might seem like they are kind, but they come about it all because of systemic racism. No one is going into grocery stores and interrogating monoracial families about their relationships to each other. I would be lying to you, though, if I said I didn't almost cry the first time a complete stranger in a Shoppers Drug Mart told me how much my children look like me. It was the first time I had heard that. These are the kinds of impacts that everyday casual racism has on individuals and families. My heart aches for what happened to the Benner home and has ached for so long about what I and my children have endured and what racism does to individuals, families, and communities. But today, my spirits are buoyed by the support the Benner and Hannigan families have received from their families, friends, the school, and the wider community. Thank you for standing with Ruby and Jayden and their families. Moving forward in an effort to quash the kind of rhetoric that leads to these kinds of events, I suppose I would just ask everyone to be more thoughtful about what they're saying and who they're saying it to speak up when you hear someone saying something racist. Don't just say you're not racist, be anti-racist. Call out comments as racist. Tell people you will not tolerate discussions that are racist. Walk away from those discussions. Let people know that casual, everyday racism is no more acceptable than hate crimes because it is the casual, everyday racism that paves the way for hate crimes to happen. Free speech does not equal consequence-free speech. Silence about racism, brushing off incidents as anomalies, or making excuses for it paves the way, again, for hate crimes, and then for rallies like this. Standing up against racism every day, in every way that you can, is what will make the difference for your friends, classmates, neighbors, and communities. Ensure that everyone knows that racism is not welcome here, it cannot thrive, and only by speaking out against it can we deliver that message.
Woo! Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nicola Hasmatali. I apologize, I'm dealing with a brain injury, and I was just asked to speak when I was outside this morning. So forgive me if I repeat myself, I'm not really prepared. I'm a mother of 2 biracial children. I'm biracial myself. My one daughter, she's about to be 17 and is white, and my son, he's about to be 13 and he's black. So 2 biracial children, neither of them look biracial. I came to Canada from Trinidad when I was 9. And the first time I realized I was different from anybody else was the first day I came back from school after my sister passed away. And they told me I killed her because that's what black people do. I have a million stories that I could say that I've experienced through the years. I've had chocolate cake smashed in my face, tell me, now that matches your face. And I've been told that I will never be anything in life, I will never know who I am because I'm biracial. I noticed the difference when I'm out with my daughter, my white daughter, and I noticed the difference when I'm out with my black son. They are both treated differently. My daughter knows her white privilege. She experiences it every day. My son, just recently, the last 2-3 months, we've had 2 incidences where he's been out with a bunch of friends and people have complained because he looks intimidating. And he's also been told that he couldn't go into a friend's house because of the color of his skin. It's just unreal. And I hate to say this, but I am not shocked that this happened to you. I'm not shocked at all. When we as people let these little comments slide by, and not saying anything about it. If we're in our staff room at work and somebody makes just that tiny little joke, that slick joke, and we don't say anything about it, we are just encouraging the situation. I have been told to stop talking about what I'm talking about because my daughter is white and that will offend her. If we do not educate our children, if we do not educate our friends, this is just going to continue and continue and continue. Education is the key. We need to educate. And I feel your pain, Mom, I feel your pain, Dad, I feel your pain, I do. And I'm sending you guys so much love and prayers and support. Just educate your friends. Educate. Oh, I got cut off.
Mic drop.
Yeah. Just educate. That's all I can say to you.
To the Jayden and Hannigan families, I want to, let you know that I support you in so many ways and do feel your pain. So my story is I have lived in this community for close to 40 years. I, like Nicola, also have a biracial daughter who's 23, who graduated from Lakeshore Catholic High School, is now graduating from Niagara College. And I have a son who's white, red hair, freckles, doesn't like the sun too much. And so one of the things, so when I heard about this, it really cut me to the core, quite honestly. But I think the thing really that's bothered me the most is the messaging out there from some people. First of all, the overwhelming support is unbelievable. But the messaging out there that this is not happening in my community. Well, I got to tell you here that that's